Right when the swaying of the trees began to settle from the blast of wind created by Misyr's attack earlier. Noticing the fight with that giant bone arm, Mr. Rindo regrouped with us as well. For the first time in days, the regulars of Enchante were gathered together.
つまり、あの天を裂いて出た巨大な腕は正体が不明な存在ということか。
ええ、あのホールの先の世界もまた GPM も預かり知らぬ世界のようです。
That giant arm that appeared after the spar toy. Arms. Are you serious? Eerie arms that looked like assembled bones that appeared from the fissures in the sky above Amasaki Island. The details are unknown, but they're as aggressive as spar toy. Okay. We didn't know what in the world it was, but the regulars were able to keep it at bay for the time being. They almost certainly expected that it would appear again.
手応えがまるでなかったからな。一時的に逃げただけだろうな、ありゃ。
A size big enough to tear the heavens apart. It was so extraordinary, the moment I saw it, all I could do was freeze on the spot. But honestly, I really didn't want to think about it attacking again. Oh, what's wrong? You're not your usual chipper self. I glanced over at Misyr next to me, and sure enough, he was deep in thought. He looked down on the ground, pensive as ever.
それで、リンド、ここへ移動してから話すとのことだったが、悪い知らせとは何のことだ？
ああ、実はね。
Huh? For an instant, Mr. Rindo looked at me and the curé in my arms.
スパルトイの増加。それに、さっき君たちを襲った正体不明の巨大な腕。その直後に起きた地表からの砲撃。それらの状況の危険性を上層部が重く見てね。ホールおよびこの島そのものを人類の脅威とみなし、殲滅の指令が下ったんだ。
殲滅とは
They gotta put a nuke to it.
言葉通りだろう。島ごと滅ぼせという。
The curé holds its breath at Canis, who was speaking for Mr. Rindo.
中でもスパルトイの数が増えていることに懸念を示していてね。いずれ島から人里に押し寄せるかもって。だからこの島に留まっているうちに島ごとを一気に殲滅しようと考えたみたいだ。わざわざ国会を通じて航空と海上両方の自衛隊出動の要請までかけてね。
つってもよ、島ごとぶっ飛ばしても聞いた感じじゃ空の割れ目から骸骨とも降ってくんだろ。
Probably.
根本的な解決になってなくねえか、それ。
Yeah, we gotta stop it at the source.
それはお偉いさん方も理解してるさ。ただ、そういう決定が出た以上、現場はもう動いてる。本当なら艦隊の出撃なんてもっと時間がかかるんだけど、運悪くちょうど近くを運行してた艦があるらしくてね。
どこまでも間が悪いな。呪われてんじゃねえか、この島。
というよりも、その原因の一つであるとんでもない砲撃って。
すみません、俺です。
Misyr honestly confesses, listlessly raising his hand.
だろうな。
Canis and Ignis sigh together in sync.
まあ君なりにあのホールを解決しようとしたっていうのはなんとなくわかるけどね。
ごめん。やらかした本人として責任は取るつもりでいるよ。
まあそれならこっちもこれ以上はぐちぐち言わないよ。
Mr. Rindo shrugs his shoulders and goes back to talking.
ともかく僕が聞いた話だとその総攻撃は1時間後。間違いなくこの島は焦土になる。
Oh, we gotta get the hell up out of here then.
僕にも保護を切り上げて避難しようって連絡が入ったよ。
Clearly, the country should do everything it can to protect its people from harm. But it was clear that non-humans stood outside the bounds of these protections. Yeah, it's fucked up. If only there was a way.
いや、そんなことはないよ。
With an unusually serious expression, let me read that again. With an unusually serious expression on him, Misyr gently pats the head of the curé. Aww.
さっきも言ったけどさ、やらかした本人として責任は取るつもりだから。そうは言いましても、具体的には何をするのです？この状況を打破するとなると、やはりあのホール自体を解決しなければならないかと。
Bill was completely right. Just like Ignis said, it didn't matter if the island was obliterated, if those cracks in the sky still exist. The issue of the growing number of Spartoi and that gigantic, terrifying arm, neither of those would be resolved.
あの空に生じたホール、多分俺の力なら封じられると思うんだ。
Misyr made his offer after taking a breath. Everyone stood there wide-eyed at him.
それ本当かい？
事実ならば願ってもないが。
一応ね、さっき俺自身の力をぶつけた結果、規模とか性質とかなんとなくつかめたから。ただ
Just
ちょっとした下準備が必要でさ、それにだいぶ時間がかかるんだ。だからそのなんていうか。
For some reason, Misyr had an apologetic look on his face.
それなりに大規模で難しい技だから集中が乱れたりするとアウトでさ。スパルトイやあの腕への対抗、自衛隊やその関係者への牽制、やることはきっと多いし大変だと思う。
After explaining the particulars,
悪いね。
what are you apologizing for?
原因の一端は俺なんだから、できればみんなに負担はかけず、個人で済ませたいとこなんだけど。
He's really taking it to heart.
もちろん強制はしないよ。俺一人でも気合で何とかして。
Why would you refuse help? The others remained standing as Misyr covered his mouth after his awkward speech. Ignis flies into Misyr with a merciless kick.
ま、これもいい機会と。
never in a million would I thought he'd make one of these faces too. Thumbnail! As Misyr was losing his balance, Mr. Rindo delivers a chop to the back of his head. What the fuck? And he picked himself back up. Kanas came with a devastating flick also to the head. With all of these somewhat painful attacks, Misyr couldn't decide whether to cover up the back or the front of his head. You're not gonna hit him too, are you? What is going on? After curiously watching the steady string of attacks, Il delivers a splendidly graceful, I can't even read, splendidly graceful and merciless slap to Misyr's cheek. What? That was pretty much in character for Il, I believe. Unable to stand any more damage, Misyr's body took a step back before crumbling backward. In his daze, Misyr finally put his hand over his reddened cheek, where the loudest sound of all the attacks was made. As Misyr laid there teary-eyed, I smiled. I began what everyone was trying to say. Like, idiot, we're here. I don't understand why you would refuse our help. No, Misyr. Your logic, your apologies, and the need to take responsibility. I think they're saying they don't need to hear any of that, right? We're all friends here, so of course we'd help you. That's what they're trying to say, okay?
そいつの言う通りだ。さっきから聞いてりゃ、いつものずうずうしさはどうしたの？一人でだの、悪いけどだの、ゴニョゴニョゴニョゴニョ、うっぜえことこの上ね。
Misyr sat there surprised while Kanas explained, sighing in amusement.
個人的な事情や各世界の事情ならばともかく、今回は共通の問題に直面しているのだ。こういう時は我らに素直に頼れ、ミシェル。お前はどうも万能ゆえの反動か、個人的なことを一人で抱えやすい傾向があるぞ。
首相な一面だね。後で報告書を更新しておこうかな。
ああ、なるほど。一連の攻撃はそういう意図で行われたものでしたか。
I'm like, oh, why are you hitting him too? You just did it because everybody else did it.
なんとなく皆に続いて真似してみましたが、間違った判断ではなかったようですね。いや、なんとなくの割にはイルのビンタが一番強烈だったけど。
For a moment, he didn't seem very satisfied with this. Misyr, I'm certain everyone here feels the same way about all this. Not that I personally could do much to help. Everyone support me and leave it all to the powerful demon lord. That's the kind of boasting we expect from the Misyr we all know and care about. I probably read that line wrong. Oh well.
俺って普段そんな感じ？
Yes.
けど、そうだね。
Misyr's smile eventually peeks out, showing his gratitude to the others.
ありがとう。じゃあお言葉に甘えて頼むよみんな。君たちの助力があれば、あの程度のホール適当にちょいちょいっとなんとかなるさ。
Aww. The same as usual, just a little different. His purpose was declared proudly. Alright, where we going to Asmodia? Okay, well, if that didn't wake me up, I'm pretty sure the coffee will after I finish this chapter. Off the shore, further out in the ocean, seen above the endless expanse of water, ominous aircraft cutting through the skies. The bulk of defense force scrambled for deployment. The F-15J fighter jets. The pilots in their cockpits held their breath as they approached the target, gazing at the cracks running across the sky. They thought it observed to receive an order to attack the sky above an island off the coast. Now facing the menacing sight before them, they were forced, that's not like I said first. They were forced to stop laughing. They took their mission seriously now. However, the pilots, taken in by the abnormalities of the sky, were in for a bigger surprise, as they failed to notice the winged angel flying as fast as their jets were, at the very speed of sound.
同型の戦闘機が6体、緊急招集だった影響か、まだ数は揃っていないようですね。とはいえ、一つ一つに挨拶をして引き返してもらうのはさすがに非効率ですし。
Ill made a decision, not in seconds, but in an instant.
不時着していただきましょう。
The moment he makes his decision, Ill flaps his wings, ascending into the heavens. Considering his target's speed, he'll have to cut out performing his usual calculations. Instead, inhaling deeply, his lungs fill with oxygen. With a special prayer, his voice sings toward the heavens. Even though they understood the urgency in being scrambled, the pilots inside the fighter jets instantly forgot the danger that was right in front of them and were entranced by the singing voice that came out of nowhere. However, the objective of the fallen angel wasn't exactly to provide a free concert. Suddenly, the fighter jets... The fighter jets Ill viewed below him slowly started to descend. Observing this, Ill applied some of his magic, allowing him to communicate with the pilots who were panicking at their plane's behavior.
皆さん、突然失礼します。あなたたちが登場している全戦闘機の操作機能すべてを私の方で掌握させていただきました。このまま海面へ着水させますので、念のために衝撃に備えていただけますか？もちろん安全面は保証いたしますので。
What? That's impossible. Girl, nothing's impossible in this story. The voices were heard amongst the pilots one after another through their radio. Just sound like they nose diving into the water, just as the fallen angel declared. The jets descended until they touched the water, no longer unbound by gravity. At the same time, right as the fighters touched down on the water one after another.
おおお、箱入りの野郎、ずいぶん気張ってるじゃねえか。
Ignis murmurs to himself along the shoreline as he squints up at the ominous-looking sky.
んじゃ、俺も行くとすっか。
With that, Ignis kicks off some sand and starts to run. Kicking up clumps of wet sand, he cuts into the cold waves of the ocean. Without any hesitation, he didn't stop at the water's edge. He ran straight into it.
右足が沈む前に左足を前に。左足が沈む前に右足を前に。
You're really saying this as you're doing it? Otome would be standing in amazement if she were here. He was actually running on water. Little explosions blew under his feet before they touched down as he glares at the Navy ship. Oh, he's propelling himself using explosions. Okay, Bakugo. Even though you're not really explosions. Whatever. I don't know who has a fire court.
でっけえ船がガン首揃えて。けど、悪いがここは通行
Oh,
止めだな。
Todoroki, I forgot. Well, his dad, shoot, Endeavor. With a shout, he swings his arm. A giant wall of flames, hundreds of meters tall and wide, erupted from him. It was a cage of fire. They were the prey. It surrounded two ships, making it impossible for them to move forward.
さーて、こいつでおとなしくしてくれりゃいいんだが。
It would be more of a problem if they actually tried to advance and just ended up sinking.
つっても、人的被害がなけりゃ、その辺は GPM に請求が行くだろうし。ま、そん時はそん時だな。
With a cocky laugh, Ignis raises his hand.
お疲れ様です。そちらもうまくいったようですね。
The fallen angel, who had seemed to accomplish his goal as well, grabbed Ignis's wrist, hoisting him up into the sky.
で、どうする？このまま空中で待機して、また新しい邪魔者が入ったら相手してくわ。
浜辺に戻る時間が惜しいですし、あちらはあちらで対処できるでしょう。ここはイグニスの提案通りで良いかと。ただ、イグニス、無事にアンシャンテへ戻ったら減量してみてはどうでしょう。再オープンの時よりも 2.4 キロほど体重が増加していますよ。
2.4 kilograms. That is, I want to say, a pound is 2.2. So roughly a pound. Pound and some ounces. Yikes. You better hope it's muscle.
てめえはやっぱこういう時にも空気読まねえのだ。
What? I know you're not crying about being tactless, Mr. Blunt and to the point.
つか太ってねえっての。筋肉がついただけだっつうの。
Okay, darling, I believe you. Underneath the abnormal sky, among a rising wall of flames and fighter jets bobbing in the water, the two regulars from Enchante continue their normal everyday banter.
Yeah, 派手にやってるな。海に炎の壁ってねえ。
事情を知らなければ一体何の災害かと思ってしまうであります。
And Ill's power is what caused the planes to make an emergency landings?
どうであれあの二人のことだ。人死にを出すような失敗はしないでだろう。
While Ill and Ignis were holding back the defense forces, in an open spot along the coast, While making detailed gestures with his hands covered in lights, he concentrates, drawing a complex magic circle on the beach. Drawing and layering it on, and drawing and layering, and drawing and layering on some more. It looked like a complicated schematic. It was so detailed that just looking at it started to make me feel confused.
さて、僕がどこまで役に立てるか疑問だけど、カノスの方は問題ない？
無論だ。ミシェルを含め、お前たちにも傷一つつけさせはせぬ。
その威圧感で言われちゃうと思わず甘えたくなっちゃうけど、僕は僕でちゃんと働くよ。
A few minutes later, as Misyr was continuing his work, the first bead of sweat had dripped down from his forehead.
よしっと、準備完了。
Wiping his forehead, Misyr was standing in the middle of the completed magic ring.
さて、じゃあことね、俺のそばに来てもらっても、陣を踏まないようにね。
Okay, what you need me to do? Huh? Me? Why?
亀裂が発生したら、またスパルトイだの、あの腕だのが攻撃してくるだろうからさ。カヌスとリンドウには周囲を死守してもらうわけだし。
Oh, I see. This would be easier, I guess, instead of me running and hiding somewhere out of reach. Following his suggestion, I walked toward the center of the magic ring and stand next to Misyr. The curé that had been with us also stood at our feet, ready to burrow itself when the time was right. I actually hoped it would hide back in the cave. But the regular suggested that in the worst case scenario, it would be safest to be close by, so it stayed here with us.
さて、これで今度こそ本当の意味で準備は完了。
All that for all right. Okay.
二人とも、そっちの準備はいい？おそらく次の亀裂、ポールが開いた瞬間、俺がこれを発動させると同時、スパルトイとあの腕はこっちを脅威とみなして一斉に襲ってくるはず。
守りは任せよ。いかなる者が相手であろうとも、断じてお前の邪魔はさせん。
ま、こっちも一応戦闘訓練は受けてるからね。スパルトイぐらいは任せてよ。
Receiving a response from the two reliable men, Misyr gives a cheery smile. Misyr? Is it okay that I'm here? I know it's safer here, but I might ruin your focus, so I'm a bit
心配ってそれは無用な心配ってやつだね。むしろ君がそばにいるとアンシャンテにいるような気分でリラックスできるんだよね。
Okay.
ほっとするっていうか、懐かしい香りがするっていうか、変に緊張しないで済む。
Misyr lets out a sigh and grins.
ダメだな。君とアンシャンテの名前を出しただけで。今すぐにでも君が入れてくれたコーヒーを飲みたくなっちゃったよ。
Well, make work of these damn skeletons, and we can make that happen. In reply to Misyr's gentle voice and smile. Well, if we all get back all right, I'll pour a special coffee just for you.
とびきり？
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, I've been researching a lot and I've been working on my own blend. Something no one's ever made before. I haven't had anyone taste it yet. So Misyr, if you'd like to, would you be... Let me read that again. So Misyr, if you'd like to, would you do me the honor of being the first to try it? As I considered how simple and quaint my token of appreciation must have been. What? Why are you giving me that face? Misyr looked like he was at a loss.
俺が一番最初に
Yes. There's no double meaning to it. I hope you're not taking it like that.
君が入れてくれたコーヒーを
Misyr? Bro, you fucking scared me there.
ああいやなんでもないちょっと自分に気合を入れただけじゃあその最高のご褒美のためにも
Oh, yep. Right on time.